Appearance on Dion's Daily Dose does not imply endorsement from or by any candidate or guest. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed by Dion Bergeron or Dion's Daily Dose are his own and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of any guest. Material and information presented is for general information purposes only. The Dion's Daily Dose name in all forms and abbreviations are the property of its owners, and its use does not imply endorsement of or opposition to any specific organization, product, or service. If you'd like to support the show, please visit our Patreon at patreon.com/Dion's Daily Dose.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to actually a pretty special episode of Dion's Daily Dose. I'm here with my friend Shawn.
Hello, everybody.
So today, all right, so I'm just gonna drop it out there. I'm not a huge fan of our Secretary of State. I'm just not. There were a whole lot of promises that were made during the lead up to his election, swearing he was going to focus on election integrity. He was going to focus on this. He was going to focus on that. And to say that I'm underwhelmed is an understatement. But more important than that, we have what I think are legitimate ethics concerns when it comes to this guy.
Yeah.
I know you've heard a little bit rumor wise about him putting people in positions and creating positions. There's a lot. So we're going to break it down and get into it. But let's start with, apparently he was called in front of the Ways and Means Committee here in the state of Indiana. So we're going to watch that. All right, here we go. This was January 15th, so last week.
Tuesday.
Yeah, something like that. And it's Representative Ed Delaney. Here we go. How many relatives, including in-laws, do you have on your payroll? It cut off a little early, so that's what he said. Here we go.
Wow.
Literal smile and says nothing. Really, dude?
Wow.
Let's finish up on this and then we'll talk about it. Dude, that smile infuriates me.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but like him just sitting there smiling at him while he's talking about the sheer abject fucking corruption.
Wow.
Is infuriating. Oh.
Yeah. If I was a House member, I'd vote do that too.
I was going to say, if I had been elected, I would absolutely vote against anything from his budget until he was completely transparent with the public about who is in his office that is a relative of his.
Yeah.
That's something that we, the taxpayer, should know.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So you guys can look it up, but I'm happy to do some of the legwork for you. Let's look into this. So the accusation is that Diego Morales created a position in order to hire his brother-in-law. Did that happen? Let's look it up. Diego Morales, Indiana. Okay, so here, let's show you guys what I'm looking at here. Nope. There. All right. Can't say. All right. So this is February 16th, 2023. Indiana Capitol Chronicle. Critics slam Morales for hiring brother-in-law. Look at that. Again, February 16th of 2023, right after he was elected in 2022. New Secretary of State Diego Morales is working alongside his brother-in-law, who filled a newly created position that comes with a 6-figure salary. Shawn Grady, Morales' brother-in-law, is the new co-director of the Auto Dealer Services Division of the agency. Previously, the division had one director and a deputy director that had a combined salary of $207,350. Okay? There were two people who shared that salary. The deputy director position no longer exists, according to Gerald Bonnet, the general counsel for the office and deputy secretary. Grady that's Shawn Grady, who is married to Morales' sister, Cecilia Grady, previously worked at a car dealership and now has a salary of $108,000. The other co-director also makes around $108,000. Bonnet said in an email to the Indiana Capital Chronicle, holy cow, why can't I talk today? That the Morales administration submitted a list of names to the state personnel department for, quote, open non-classified executive positions, and the other agency processed hiring. The process for traditional hiring through the state personnel department can take up to 2 months, and new administrations utilize a quicker method to get their agency started, he said. Government watchdogs told the Indy Star the hiring was, quote, completely inappropriate, though it doesn't technically violate the state's nepotism laws. The publication also reported that Grady received the job offer 9 days after Morales was sworn in on January 9th. State law bars the hiring of one's relative, but only includes spouses, parents or step-parents, children or stepchildren, siblings or step-siblings, nieces, nephews, aunts, uncles, daughter-in-law, or son-in-law. Brother or sister-in-laws don't qualify. So, House Speaker Todd Houston said he was unfamiliar with the hiring Thursday, didn't say whether or not the nepotism code that applies to all state employees needed to be updated. But Senator Greg Taylor, Senate Minority Leader, said he didn't think it needed to be changed. If his brother-in-law does a good job, let him have his brother-in-law in office, Taylor D. Indianapolis said. I don't think we need to react by changing laws every time something like that happens. Mike Schmoll, the chair of the Democrat Party, criticized Morales over the hiring in a Wednesday night statement, saying the move, quote, erodes trust in government and is a continuation of the multiple scandals that plagued Morales' campaign. Diego Morales should rescind the appointment and commit to transparent and fair hiring practices in the future, rather than hiring people for the personal gain of himself and his family, he said. During his campaign, Morales faced accusations of sexual harassment, election improprieties, campaign misspending, and exaggerating his military service. He did win the November election with overwhelming support, however. Now, that should get everybody caught up. Several things here. Number one, I have received reports that I'm unable to corroborate at this time, so I can't go into more detail than that. We tried to look up some facts and we weren't able to do that. So unfortunately, I can't say yes or no on this stuff. What I can tell you is there were some questions regarding campaign ethics issues with the Secretary of State's office. What does that mean? Basically, when you go and you print like information booklets that the Secretary of State is responsible for, like election information, right? Secretary of State's office prints that stuff out, sends it out. At the bottom, you have a certain type of font size that you have to use for the name of the person in office, the position, etc. Those were incorrect. Apparently, his name was larger than it should have been. Yep. There's a lot of reports like that. I think the election committee is sorting through that, but it's not a good look.
No,
it's not a good look. It makes, whether it's intentional or just a mistake, which I've run for office in the past. Election laws are complicated. Campaign laws are very complicated,
especially campaign finance laws.
Yes, when it talks about like how you have to declare this and what you need to do with that. And this form has to be filled out this kind of way, but this form has to be filled out a different way. It can get very confusing. And when you're talking about typefaces, font sizes, you got to scale all this stuff, because some of this stuff is this big, the font level, right? It's minuscule. Some of it is nice and easily legible, like campaign signs, for example, right? You can see those. Well, at the bottom of campaign signs, there's a little paid for by disclaimer that has to be there, and it better be the right size. Or it's like, I think it's like $500 a sign. Fine, wow. Potentially Like
Wow.
it can be nuts. You can like really rack up some fines.
I just didn't like his smiling and not answering the question.
So that's a big concern, right? When you have, again, this is something we've talked about at the national level with these hearings. These representatives were elected by us to represent us. And these various committees are designed to oversee these various positions. And they have these hearings so they can go, okay, you're asking for all this money. Tell us what it's for, kind of thing. And they can ask whatever they want. I think this was an excellent use of a question.
Yeah.
Thank you to this representative. What's his name? Let's go back because I want to make sure. Hold on. Ed Delaney. Thank you to State Rep Ed Delaney for calling him out on this.
Yeah.
And it gave us the opportunity to see what he's really about. Just that I want to, that
Could you imagine being in that
look.
I think you would have lost if you were in that
Oh
hearing.
my God. I'd be like, are you seriously going to sit here and smugly smile at us? Are you for real right now?
Is he able to be impeached by the House and the Senate?
So Indiana does not have impeachment
That's what I thought.
ability. Personally, there's no recall. There's no impeachment. None of that, at least at the county level. I'll double check, but I think state level as well.
That's interesting.
Let's see here. Can Indiana impeach?
That's what I thought, but I wanted to double check on that.
Okay, hold on. Wait. Okay, wait. Maybe I'm wrong. There's no recall, but there is. Let me see if I can find it. Okay. Yes, all state officers shall, for crime, incapacity, or negligence, those are the three listed articles, be liable to be removed from office, either by impeachment by the House of Representatives, to be tried by the Senate, or by a joint resolution of the General Assembly, 2/3 of the members elected to each branch voting, in either case, therefore.
Oh, okay.
So, yes. And then Section 8 goes on to say, this is, by the way, the Indiana Historical Bureau, Article 6, Administrative, the Constitution of 1851 as originally written. I got to double check and see if this is current. But it says Section 8, all state, county, township, and town officers may be impeached or removed from office in such manner as may be prescribed by law. So impeachment, yes. Recall, no. There's no recall. I was wrong on that, and I admit it. But let's check. That is the I will say I like the old one, but it looks like that's currently as amended. Okay, hold on. So yeah, that's still relevant. That's the current Constitution, Section 7, Section 8. Yeah, no updating there. So yes, potentially could be impeached, but it would have to be, again, crime, negligence, crime, incapacity, or negligence. There it is. Crime, incapacity, or negligence. Here, we'll throw this over here so you guys can see it. Boom.
That's good to know, though.
Yes, right here, Section 7. All state officers shall, for crime, incapacity, or negligence, be liable to be removed from office, either by impeachment or a joint resolution. So either way, it requires 2/3 of the branch to vote, and they have to vote him out.
It'll be interesting when he's up for an election in 2026.
Yes.
If he gets the nomination again for the convention.
Yeah. So, okay. Here's the way it works, right? In Indiana, the convention delegates are who chooses the next Secretary of State. So if you're interested, if you want to be involved and see in making, well, they choose the primary winner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me be clear on that. The Secretary of State is still voted on by the public, but the Republican's going to win. It's Indiana.
We're deep red.
We're deep red. State level, it's a done deal. The only election that matters in that race is the primary. If you want to be involved, you need to run for delegate for your district. There you go. Yeah. And the laws vary from region to region. If you guys are in a state other than Indiana, nothing I say probably applies.
No.
It's different everywhere. That's why states are in charge of their elections, not the federal government.
And it should be that way.
And it should be that way. It will be very interesting to see what happens with Diego Morales between now and the next primary election in 2026.
It's the Attorney General and the Secretary of State, right?
Yes. So the AG.
Is it Radika?
No, that's not right because we just did AG. It's
okay.
Yeah, that's right. Hold on. It's Secretary
Auditor?
of State, Auditor, and Treasurer.
Okay.
That's it. Yeah. And then the
2028.
alternate is Attorney General and Lieutenant Governor.
Okay.
Which they're going to try to change. They are coming after Micah Beckwith's ability, his listed powers under the Constitution. They are desperately trying to chip away at that. Have you seen that?
You told me about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That they're trying to take him off the committees that he's supposed to be the chair of.
Yes. Yeah. They're trying to take away his ability to even appoint people as the Secretary of Agriculture. They're trying to take his power away and make it to where the governor is able to appoint.
Just leave it alone.
It's because he didn't kiss the ring. That's exactly what it is. It's because he didn't go, yeah, I'll do whatever you want. No, damn that. Damn that. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch because I think we are starting to see a shift in the Indiana legislature. I think we're starting to see a shift. It's not big yet. Keep an eye on it. But we're starting to see a shift away from the so-called Republican the deep state in Indiana, for lack of a better term, right? The establishment, what they consider to be Indiana's version of the deep state, the firmly entrenched people who aren't going anywhere. It doesn't matter who gets elected. They run stuff.
And that's everywhere.
It is. It's not just here,
It's local too. We've talked
about
about
absolutely. Yeah, for sure it's local. You've got different power groups. You've got different people behind the scenes pulling the strings. That's just how it is. So locally, I'm going to get into a whole lot more stuff locally here soon. But we've got a messed up situation here in LaPorte County. We have one county commissioner who thinks about the people, who cares about your freedom and mine. And then we have two who are basically dancing to someone's drum. We can make guesses as to who that person is, but then this person goes and sues people and then loses. I mean, free speech, biatch.
Yeah.
But so, and there are lots of things that are in the nuance of those cases, right? That particular case where a certain attorney here in LaPorte County sued a certain auditor and lost. And did I tell you about the offer?
I think you did.
Yeah.
You and offer. Liz talked about that on show.
Yeah. So yeah, there's power structures. No, look, when I worked at Indiana State Prison, right, there were a group of people who ran different areas of the prison. You've got your gangs. Those are very real. You've got your cliques, right? The good old boy network. You've got captains and majors and lieutenants who all kind of are of the same mindset and go back years, and maybe their parents work together, their grandparents work together. They're going to look out for each other before they look out for you. I'm not saying it's like that now. I haven't worked there in a number of years, but we see it everywhere. And it's just as prevalent here in Indiana as anywhere else. Just because we got lots of corn doesn't change state government.
I think it's human nature.
It is, sure. And then you get these various office assistants and bureaucrats and these people that are basically lodged in these long-term government jobs. They're the ones making the decisions. They're the ones holding stuff up or allowing it to happen, right? That's just the way it is, unfortunately. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. If you're someone who wants to get involved politically and who wants to make a difference as to the future of our nation, especially now that it appears that we have a president who gives a damn about the rule of law, a president who cares about our future. If you want to get involved, let me know. I recommend at least touching base with your local Republican Party or Democrat Party, because there's nothing wrong with wanting to make changes. And the way that you make changes, even let's say, look, I'm trying to think. I've had friends, right, who were hardcore Democrats, and the party of their parents is very different than the Democrat Party of today.
Yeah.
If you're someone who just loves the Democrat Party because of whatever reason, and you think it should be a little more centrist, you can still save your party. It's possible, but you have to do that from the local level. You have to start and you have to get in there. And I know people who were very active in the Democrat Party previously, but because of the insanity that it has become, they're like, yeah, I want no part of that. There's still that JFK Democrat mindset, right? They're not exactly Trumpers, but it's still possible to save your local party, but you got to get involved. And the way you do that, touch base with them, find out when you can come to an event. Like, for example, here in LaPorte County, we have the 463 GOP Club that meets early, so early on Saturday morning, the first Saturday of the month. And it's so early.
And you're not a morning person.
I am not a morning person, man. That's when I was a truck driver. I drove at night. Like, there was so much less traffic, so many fewer accidents, so many less idiots. That's just how it is. I don't know why, but the darker it was, the darker it was, the higher the IQ around you. It's weird. Driving, right? Not like going to the corner store, because let's face it, it's the opposite. But in general, the less people on the road, the less issues you have. So I kind of got to where I was driving at night, sleeping during the day. And then when I worked at ISP for most of the time, I was night shift. So I just don't do mornings, man.
Yeah, I don't like mornings.
Early. I'm so whiny about it because it's so freaking early.
7.
And I've said,
7?
8:30.
8:30.
Yeah. On a Saturday morning. If it was 10:30, I do believe we would have a larger turn. Not that it's not a good turnout. Like, it's packed now. Let me clarify. When I first started, it was about half full of the area that we use, right? Now, like, if you don't get there early, you may not have a seat. Yeah, it's packed because people are tired. They're tired of the bullshit. They're like, what do I do? Tell me what I can do. And that's a big thing, man. It's been a thing for a while. Is, okay, so I'm all about Trump, right? I want to get Trump elected. What do I do? And the big thing is, well, you can send us your money or you can volunteer. But there's other things you can do, guys. There's other things you can do to fix our country. You can get involved locally. And I'm not just talking about people that are running for various offices. The party, especially like LaPorte County, isn't a vastly populated county comparatively, but we're the second largest county land size in the state. So,
Wow.
yeah. So LaPorte County is huge.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. But as such, we've got a pretty robust party because we've got LaPorte and Michigan City, along with Westville and other outlying areas. Speaking of population, because did you hear about Michigan City getting downgraded in size?
I did.
Really briefly, let's talk about that because a lot of people are confused as to what's going on with that.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that.
Okay.
Either.
All right. So one of the state senators near here is Mike Bohacek. Okay. He introduced a bill. Let's bring it up so that I make sure that we have the right information for you guys. All right. So Indiana, Michigan City. Okay. So hometown news now. A proposal at the state level. All right. So let's bring this up so we can show you guys what we're dealing with here. Michigan City faces downgraded status under bill. Michigan City could soon have fewer elected officials under a measure proposed in the state legislature that would lower the city's status. Now, you read that and you think, holy crap, that sounds terrible. A proposal at the state level intends to downgrade Michigan City from a second-class city to a third-class city. Why? Based on the population, which is now estimated by the U.S. Census Bureau at more than 32,000. The population of Michigan City was once nearly 40,000 in 1970. 1970, guys, not 2010, 1970. It says here, if the bill is adopted, the number of city council members in Michigan City would be reduced from 9 to 7. Okay. The position of city controller would also be eliminated, with those duties being absorbed by the current city clerk, who would become clerk treasurer. During Tuesday night's city council meeting, Councilman Don Presbolinski was obviously bothered by the proposal. When I heard of this, I was just dismayed. What is this all about? Is there not bigger issues in the city of Michigan City or the state of Indiana? He said. I'm not going to do it.
Okay, I was waiting.
Let's just wait. The bill was submitted by State Senator Mike Bohacek, a Republican from Michiana Shores. Presbolinski ordered Bohacek to be asked in writing to appear at the next city council meeting on February 4th to explain his reason for proposing the measure and potential impact on the community. If the measure passes, Presbolinski said the change would go into effect in 2027. The bill calls for a second-class city to be converted to third-class status if their population is less than 31,500 for 2 consecutive censuses, which are conducted nationwide every 10 years. Currently, the number of residents in Michigan City is above that figure. However, the city would still be downgraded because the population of Indiana State Prison under the bill would be subtracted from the 2020 census count. The prison historically has had slightly above 2,000 inmates. The prison will close and relocate to the new combined prisons going up in Westville once the ongoing construction is completed in roughly 2 years. All right, let's talk about this very briefly. You can't have it both ways, guys. You can't want the prison gone and want the land and then be all butthurt because the population doesn't count for your city anymore. It's that simple. You can't be like, yeah, we want all the benefits of having the number of residents that the prison holds without any of the negatives associated with actually having the prison there. You guys were so, I say you guys, the voters that voted for the current
careful
administration at the city level in Michigan City. That's what y'all wanted. Y'all were told all these stories about how you're going to get the land and it's going to do this and I'm going to do that with it and I'm going to make it this, I'm going to make it that. Well, there's there's downsides that go along with moving to prison.
There's consequences.
Elections have consequences. And the reality is the state is tired of shoving money to Michigan City when Michigan City is not the second-class city it claims to be. It's just not. We have a service. I've talked at length about the issues we have here in Michigan City. And while I still love Michigan City, don't get me wrong, I've lived here the vast majority of my life. I keep coming back for some god-awful reason. I'm kidding. I love this city. It has so much potential. Michigan City could be amazing. Amazing. But that's the way
we keep electing people that...
Precisely. We keep electing people that have different visions than I believe the majority have. But it is what it is. So enjoy the downgraded status. Now, at the same time, y'all lose a couple of council members. It doesn't matter. Realistically, Michigan City votes what the mayor wants. That's because y'all keep electing the same people to the council. That's the point. So what does it matter if there's 2 less votes? It doesn't. And then the treasurer comptroller, it's just going to combine 2 elected positions into one. So you pay less. And
that is true.
That's the point, to reduce the amount of taxes. Taxes keep going up, and when you give government the ability to do something, they're always going to have a reason to do it. Whether it's not downgrade the city, whatever. When you expand government, it is impossible to get it back under control. That's just the way that it is. So, all right, guys, I appreciate your time as always. And I think we're going to start doing some more local stuff.
Okay.
I think that there are, especially if you don't pay attention to the county or local level, you would be shocked at the sheer venom, the sheer ignorance, the sheer stupidity on display at these meetings. I'm just saying, but we'll get to it. Have a great day. See you soon. God bless you. God bless Indiana. God bless the United States of America. And I suppose even Michigan City a little. Just I'm kidding. God bless all y'all. See ya.
If you'd like to support the show, please visit our Patreon at patreon.com/Dion's Daily Dose. This has been Dion's Daily Dose, hosted by Dion Bergeron. Executive producers, Shawn Holgram and Michael Beebe. Copyright 2024. Dion's Daily Dose